Good morning, students. Today we shall discuss the poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. written by Nissim Ezekiel. Before starting the poem, we shall know about the poet and the poem as the summary, and then we shall discuss the poem details. The poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. was written by Nissim Ezekiel, one of the India's foremost Indo-Anglian poets. He was born in 1914 and was educated in Mumbai, London. He produced several volumes of verse and plays and was an art critic. Ezekiel died in 2004 at the age of 79. This is a short information about the poet. Now come to the points of poem details. The poem's Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa comes under his 6th volumes of poems, namely Hymn in Darkness. As the story of this poem is, the occasion is a farewell party given to Miss T.S. Pushpa by her friends and colleagues in her office when she leaves for a foreign country to improve her prospect. The speaker wishes her a happy voyage and praised her for her good qualities. In fact, Nissim Ezekiel makes fun of the way in which the semi-educated Indian speaker or write the English language. He ridicules the error in grammar, syntax, and idioms which many Indians commit while speaking the English language. In other words, she mimics the Indian way of speaking English with so many faults, and the poem is highly amusing. This is the main background of the poem. Here Ezekiel presents this story. Now we come to the details again. This poem, The Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S., is a satirical poem. In this poem, the poet satirized certain Indian customs, traditions, and manners. It is also called a dramatic monologue because in this poem we see a listeners and the speakers also. This poem is written in a free verse, typically modern poetry. The speaker stands for every speaker in Indian context, and the poet uses free or broken language to share the views and the emotion, and also mocks at literal translation. Suppose 2-3 days, suppose she is feeling These are the main points. Very high rich family, ঠিক আছে, renounced advocate. These are the mocks. And another way of unfolding parody is the way of not using indefinite article. Very high family, and renounced advocate. Here the from the very high family should be used, and father was a renounced advocate. A should be used here, but these are not. This is why it is unfolding parody, which represents Miss Pushpa is laughed instead of laugh at the people. The Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. is a social satire on speech, which is delivered on the occasions when all praise the good natured. He describes the internal and external beauty of Miss Pushpa in Babu Ingreji. That is actually Babu Ingreji. Nissim Ezekiel has not given a definite identity of the speaker. We do not know whether it is male or female speaker. So, as the conclusion of this poem, we come across that the poem is a parody of an Indian speech, and it is a satirical of the manners of Indian educated people. The whole poem is comic in nature, and the speaker's use of words, phrase or sentence in this poem laughs at the listeners. The parody includes irony, vague speech, and literal translation, and the use of present progressive tense instead of present indefinite or simple present. This is why we may tell it Babu Ingreji. Okay, now we come to the text line by line to explain and to understand the clear sense of the poem. Friends, our dear sister is departing for foreign in 2-3 days, and we are remembering today to wish her bon voyage. This is the stanza or 7 line. In this stanza, the speaker addresses the colleagues, friends, and subordinates in the party to bid goodbye to his sister Miss Pushpa. He tells them that their dear sister Miss Pushpa is leaving for a foreign country, and they all wish her a happy journey. So this is the main idea, that this arrangement, the main aim of this arrangement is to wish Miss Pushpa a happy journey. Next, we are all knowing to friends what sweetness is in Miss Pushpa. I do not mean only external sweetness, but internal sweetness. Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling, even for no reason but simply because she is feeling. This is the next stanza or 7 lines. In these lines, the speaker reminds the friends of Miss Pushpa's sweetness, which is both external and internal. Here the poet means that Miss Pushpa is not only physical beautiful, but also internally beautiful. From mind, from concept, from thinking, all qualities are beautiful. This is why he tells of Miss Pushpa good and amicable nature. Miss Pushpa always puts on a smiling face. It is obvious that Nassim Ezekiel is ridiculing the habitual use of continuous tense, even where is ungrammatical and inappropriate. That is, sweetness is even Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling. In that sense, it should be used that Miss Pushpa smiles. In that sense, she is feeling. Instead of that, it should be used she feels. Now come to the point of next para. Miss Pushpa is coming from a very high family. Her father was renowned advocate in Bulsar or Surat. I am not remembering now which place. Here, where from Miss Pushpa comes, this is said by the speaker. Miss Pushpa is coming from aristocratic high society, high family. Here high family means actually a rich family, aristocratic and educated family. Her father was renowned advocate. This is a renowned advocate. But I am not remembering now to which place. In this stanza, the speaker continues his address at the goodbye party and tells the audience that Miss Pushpa belongs to a rich family and her father was a famous advocate in Bulsar and Surat, but he doesn't remember the place correctly. This is why we may say it, when the poem was written, he remembered the event which was happened a long time ago. Surat. Oh yes, once only I stayed in Surat with family members of my uncle's very old friend. His wife was cooking nicely. That was long time ago. This is the stanza which actually means that in these lines the fun is made of the wayward mind of the speaker, who forgets the vocations and starts talking about his days in Surat with the family of his uncle's old friend. The speaker is informed by someone in audience that the place was Surat, and he remembers and talks about his experience in Surat. Then uncle's very old friend and his wives were there, are typically of the unprepared, spontaneous speech and characteristics of many Indian culture, which lacks of propriety in such graves formal functions. Now come to the next para. Coming back to Miss Pushpa, she is the almost popularest lady, with men also and ladies also. This is an addressing speech. After the diversions from topics of the speech, the speaker goes back to Miss Pushpa. He says that he is very popular, not only men but also ladies also. It is obvious in the lines that Nissim Ezekiel is ridiculing the amusing and ungrammatical speech of Indian culture and their sentimental exaggerated way of speaking. Very minutely, very experiencibly, the poet discusses the culture among the characters. Whenever I asked her to do anything, she was saying, just now only I will do it. That is showing good spirit. I am always appreciating good spirit. Miss Pushpa is never saying no. In this part, in these lines, this is the man praising his subordinate. Miss Pushpa, the speaker, goes ahead and praised her good nature. She would never say no to works assigned to her. This shows that she has a good spirit and her readiness to work, to do any work. She is a willing worker, full of always blithy spirit or spirit. Now come to the last stanza. Whatever I or anybody is asking, she is always saying yes. And today she is going to improve her aspect. We are still wishing her bon voyage. Now I asked other speaker to speak, and afterwards Miss Pushpa will do summing up. This is the stanza here. Whatever I and nobody is asking, she is always saying that. I mean, in this conclusion line, the speaker says that she was always ready to help whenever asked by him or any other colleagues. Here, the poet actually expresses the good nature of Miss Pushpa. Today, the speaker and the other colleagues have gathered to wish her a happy journey as she is going abroad to improve her prospect. After this speech is over, the speaker asked any other speakers to speak and say that Miss Pushpa will summing up after the colleague's speech. I and the other speakers will to speak, and afterwards Miss Pushpa will do summing up. This is the end of this poem. So Ezekiel expresses a cultural effect, especially Indian cultural effect in this poem. Goodbye party for Miss Pushpa T.S, and very minorly she represents this that happens in educated families also. Thank you to all. Stay at home, because COVID-19 surrounded all over the world. So stay at home is very safe. Thank you.